people are wanting to know, what's going on. And so I just thought I would just bring my thoughts to the platform a little bit. There's only so much that I am going to discuss as being a litigant in the actual filing. Um, Here's the thing is I've already heard, and people have already started sending me some stuff by one of the Yahoos basically stating that this couldn't be and blah, 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 this and blah, 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 that. This is well established. I can tell you a lot of people worked around the clock to acquire all the information, catalog all the information, and get a good understanding of what's going on and, what happened in this situation. Now, we all have watched the true crime community go from a good place to a very rotten place to be at times, especially when it comes to avocation. These people have not done this just to Bullhorn Betty, but have done this to multiple creators and multiple people that are non-creators or people that support creators and things of that nature. About a year or so ago, I tried to get some of this to stop with a lawsuit that you guys all know about. And that has been fought, and we'll see what the judge has to say about a couple of upcoming hearings or upcoming situations. But then it progressed into the Sebastian Rogers case with the utmost intensity of damaging anybody and everybody looking for this child, but looking for this child that could see or had a differing opinion of them, so much so that they lied under oath and had me thrown in jail. These are things that we all witnessed. This is something that's pretty significant. You threw somebody in jail that committed no crimes over lies, over brigading a law enforcement. And I'm one of many stories, okay? I'm just one person that underwent this. There are many people that have also been, maybe not to the extent, but let's take Nick the Hat, for example. They took my freedom away from me for 19 hours when I committed no crimes, and they were trying to go after Nick the Hat and have him go back and serve the rest of his sentence and have him violated for parole, literally taking years away from him when he's committed no crimes. This is not YouTube BS. Okay, this is not just the BS that happens on YouTube. This is real life with real life consequences, and talking about taking people's freedoms away because you don't like their commentary. This is a significant situation. And not only that, but this case emboldened this network of people that were working together to accomplish these things and hinder an investigation. There is overwhelming amount of evidence related to this case that's properly cataloged. I can tell you that. It sounds like the attorneys are ready and willing to go to trial. It sounds like this stuff needs to come to an end. And it sounds like there's a lot of people other than me that are sick and tired of this nonsense. These are criminal acts. We've been talking about them for years. And it is unfortunate that all these people can come together for a hate campaign and literally try to ruin people's lives over a case of, avocation. You have a right to have your opinion about cases. We have our opinion about the case all the time, but you do not have the right to destroy people's life because of your opinion. You do not have the right to harm somebody's reputation because you don't like them and you want to make up lies about them. This has been going on for years, but this right here, what we're talking about in this particular matter, has happened since Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers went missing. It was emboldened and it was fierce. The level of hate and disruption and misinformation and disinformation was rampant. And it was all geared toward Seth, which is the one person that actually has a confirmed and corroborated alibi with witnesses. So a lot of people that have tried to support the truth have been silenced in very barbaric ways. This is a serious lawsuit. People are saying they don't have jurisdiction. I don't know if they know the process of federal law. But they have established that, So there are two people from Pennsylvania, and that's Barbecue Lady and Granny's Watching, that are the lawsuit, geared the lawsuit toward, including 50 does. There were some of those does revealed in the complaint. There are a lot of does that will be revealed over time. Clearly, the objective here is to get the criminal enterprise to stop being a criminal enterprise. What they are doing is wrong. They've known for a very long time what they're doing is criminal. And if you say, no, they don't, well, I can tell you that for quite some time, we've discussed it on this channel, how it is criminal. We've discussed this on this channel about how a lot of the stuff I do in person, because by doing it over the internet, it is a crime. Good morning, Seth. Good morning. As a matter of fact, that's a great segue. The stuff that Seth has had to endure is nothing that any parent should have to endure. He's already missing a child. He walked out of work and his whole entire world was flipped upside down. It took a lot of work to get to this point, to get to this filing. I am very proud of the people that took a stand against this criminal enterprise and what they were doing, not only to me, but to others. And trust me, there's a lot of unnamed victims in this that have been victims of this enterprise before, and most likely unless it's stopped after. What has come onto the streets of social media under the guise of true crime is not true crime. There are true crime channels out there. There are people that want the truth and want the things they're not being told by mainstream media. And I think that I, as well as a few other content creators, provide that. We provide boots on the ground, a front row view of what's really going on, and a continued front row view of what's going on, not mainstream media's version where they do a 5 or 15-minute news clip. People want to know what's going on when they're invested in a case. They want to know every aspect of that case that they can. You know, I think everybody's fairly reasonable that we all understand we can't know everything about everything all the time, right? So yes, Shiloh, we worked very hard for Quentin Simon, and we got that right. And I'm glad that people can see the work that we did and the right side of things that we were on, because we took a major blow over that case, and they tried to use that case as a way to discredit me. And as a matter of fact, the silver lining of it is that case actually gave this channel even more credibility. So yes, we were, just like I feel we're on the right track with our findings, our earlier findings in the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. This has been very difficult, and I feel like I made a lot of great friends working on this with them, because this was a lot of hard work and a lot of hands involved. We had 75 plus people helping collect evidence and get that evidence cataloged in an effort to get this filed. I know people are downplaying this filing, saying, "Oh, it's poorly written and this, that, and the other." It established a lot, and it established a very coordinated effort from these channels to discredit and destroy the lives of anybody that wanted to speak about this case. So much so, like we watch Mr. and Mrs. E, some of the sweetest people. I told you guys, when you meet people, I'm sorry, you just know. And I got to personally meet Mr. and Mrs. E. We sat down for a cup of coffee, and my first opinion of them is they were just dolls. They were some of the sweetest people I've ever met in person. The personality that you guys see on the screen is the personality that I met. These are normal people. A lot of people say that my commentary is overboard or whatever. Well, I've had to live through a lot on these streets for the last 4 years. You kind of learn to get, don't mess with me attitude, so to speak, with dealing with it. They are so new. They are still able to keep that sweet persona about them, their real life, them being able to be on screen. When I came onto YouTube, I was I was very ignorant to this life. I could tell you that. It was rough, but I was also a very sweet person. I was just, trying to advocate for a child, and it was the Summer Wells case. I mean, we did Gabby Petito, but I really wasn't on social media during Gabby Petito. I didn't really get on social media until the Summer Wells case. And when I got on the Summer Wells case, it was like vultures attacking. And I remember so many times just, crying and being upset about everything. And it was just one of those, after so long, you just had to get to a point where it's either, you do what you're passionate about and fight back, or, well, there for 2 years, we didn't do anything. We just kept moving forward. We didn't argue with anybody. We didn't address any of the hate. I told people not to send it to me, and we just kind of did our own thing in our own little box and just tried our best as much as we could to ignore the hate. And when that didn't work, they started coming over to the channel and disrupting the channel and striking the channel and doing everything they could to manipulate the algorithms and try to apply as much pressure as possible to my family as well as to me, online and offline. And until that wasn't working, they were trying to force me off the platform. That wasn't working. Again, this is only one of many stories, because there are multiple people that have similar stories like me from these same outfits. It was just a lot. And the more we ignored, the more disruptive they became. and it was causing some issues, my team had to endure. I mean, Sonia and the Real Me Too have been attacked behind the scenes, as well as all of their personal information doxed. Sonia, people were attacking her business. They were trying to shut her business down that her husband helped her build, because he wasn't doing well, and he wanted to make sure that she could survive. It doesn't matter, but the bottom line is that was a very emotional, this is a very emotional business for her, because it's her attachment to her husband, and these people were trying to destroy it. And it's just like, that is their motivation. If they don't like you, they seek and destroy, and if they can't seek and destroy you, they seek and destroy the people around you. That has just now snowballed into this huge organization that sets their eyes on a target and attacks anybody and everybody that associates with it. And I think that the pattern is really what the pattern that was established in this filing is going to be hard to overcome, in my opinion. This is not a laughing matter. This is not a joke. And I am absolutely confident that all the pieces of the puzzle are put together before this filing ever made its way to that court. And I can guarantee that is the evidence that they were able to collect without discovery. And it's terabytes and terabytes of information that had to be cataloged. One of the downloads was 9 terabytes of information. That was just one download from the information that was collected. Hey, big boy, I haven't seen you in a while. Big hug and kiss to you. I hope you're doing well. So go back and see what she says about Julio Random. I don't know who you're talking about. I guess I walked into a conversation. Sorry about that. The only street credit they get is for being trash. Ignorant as hell, to say the least. Yeah, but these things that they're trash, but they really cause disruption. I mean, people reach out to my family. People mailed stuff to my family. Recently, have called my sister's job. Recently, have drove by my house for somebody else. These are real life things that we do not do. We cover public interest cases. We don't cover content creators. We don't go to their house. We don't disrupt their lives. We don't try to take their channels down. We don't reach out to their family. We don't intimidate people. We cover a story. Occasionally, we've had 3 protests that we've done in our life, but everybody acts like because we've done those 3 protests, we do protests. We've covered over 40 cases, and only 3 cases have risen to the level of a protest. And those protests were nonviolent, and they were all above board. So they're trying to use that as a catalyst for causing all of this destruction, and it's wrong. You can't use that, at least for me. Again, there are more stories than just mine, as you could see. There's Seth's story, there's Tony's story, there's Brittany J's story, there's Chase and Crime stories, there's Nick the Hat stories, there's Hong's stories, and there's Dog the Bounty Hunter stories that all resemble the same pattern of behavior. And that pattern of behavior, I think, is going to is their downfall, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. I don't, I haven't talked to the attorneys too much about their opinions. They just collect the information, and they do their attorney work. I can tell you, I think the downfall of this enterprise was going after Nick the Hat and trying to take his freedom away. Mr. Petito was threatened too. Yes, Lady for Justice, and he came out. Everybody called us a liar. Have you noticed the theme here? That every time we tell the truth, they scream louder and louder and put together this huge wave of people to discredit the true information. And then after they do that, because Mr. Petito didn't come right out and say he was threatened. I think it was me that broke that information, because I was really upset about that he wouldn't come on because he had been threatened. And I'm just thinking all the work he's done with his organization, and we were going to be Seth was going to be promoting his organization, and they destroyed that. They destroyed Gabby's name as well as Sebastian Rogers' name in that attack. And, Mr. Petito didn't come directly out right then and there on that day and say that he was threatened. So they ended up, dogging everybody that said it and trying to trash their names. And then lo and behold, I think it was like maybe a month and a half after the event happened, and he did tell his story about how he got threatened himself. And that's when you realize they once again lied, and they tried to discredit people that were telling the truth. And that seems to be a common theme with them. The people that are trying to seek the truth and tell the truth are the ones that are most attacked on this platform. Sonia and the Real Me Too have worked tirelessly along with every other mod. The reason why I bring them up is because all my mods have been viciously attacked, okay, viciously. And all of my mods have been doxxed in one way or another, and it wasn't right. A lot of my mods for a while wanted me to say something about it, but at that time, if you did, more would come. And so we had to weigh whether shining a spotlight on it would cause, an opposite reaction to what we intended. So we opted to keep our mouths shut about that. And again, this is all leading up to the Sebastian Rogers case. But we saw exactly what happened when this case started breaking. Is Tony in the chat? Good morning, Mr. Mathis. I hope you're doing well. I know I slept better last night. I'm not sure about you. Everyone that has been willing to help me concerning Sebastian became a target. Exactly, Seth. And so I just really think that the people that are listed in this should take it seriously and not dismiss it, because I can tell you this was a huge undertaking, and I'm confident that it is saturated in proper case law and proper statute. And if you read that and you know that what you read is the truth and not made up, which I can guarantee every bit of that is the truth, then they have a problem, because nothing in that complaint was a lie, right? When we saw the affidavits for these bogus protective orders, we knew immediately they were lies. If you read that complaint and nothing is a lie, and you witnessed those actions being taken and those things being true, then I would say that there's a big problem, because clearly we had no problem telling the truth in the complaint. And if that's the truth and you've witnessed it, then I'd have to say that the statutes that accompany those statements are probably accurate and should be taken seriously.